unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time.
One of the more curious things in life for me is when so-called or self-professed empaths or nice people or good people use terms from a personality disorder handbook to describe people they don't like. You know? The main one is narcissist. You hear that a lot now. I mean, I hear everybody's accusing everybody of being a narcissist. Seems like if anybody puts himself on the line, it's narcissism. Like a selfie's narcissism. Too many posts on Facebook is narcissism. Taking a selfie, I already said that one. But I just hear so many people, and everybody's calling President Trump a narcissist, and he very well may be. I mean, I just read all the definitions on WebMD just because I knew I wanted to make this post. And it really reads like a mean criticism of some very regular traits in a lot of people. You know, it reads as if people shouldn't have any self-love. And it's really strangely at odds with, self-help books, which, if you read self-help books, they're almost all trying to train somebody to be a narcissist. You need to stop caring so much about what other people think, You need to love yourself. You need to make time for yourself. You need to think more of yourself. You're beautiful. You're a goddess. There's all this training out there. All the self-help. When somebody's feeling down about themselves or depressed, you try to train them to become everything you criticize in somebody else. And of course I understand, because the most beautiful and wonderful people have a perfect balance of everything, right? Isn't that the story? All these perfectly balanced people out there. But yeah, if you read the definition of narcissism, it reads like a list of indictments to use against someone who isn't giving you your way, or isn't allowing you to embody the things on the list, on that very same list. I find that often the people that are calling other people narcissists are simply upset that maybe their voice hasn't been elevated to the same level, or that they're not getting their way as the narcissist is getting their way. That person has no empathy. They'll say, you have no empathy. And I'm always thinking, how do you know what's in their mind? Do you really assume that they don't feel? Or maybe they're protecting themselves? What do you know? It's like the thing with narcissism is so close to the Nazi thing. It's so close to just a bad insult. It's like the unforgivable disorder, if it is a disorder and not just a type of human that has their place in the world, Oh, you're a narcissist, therefore you're bad. You have all these terrible traits. This WebMD thing, if you look it up, there's 15 different traits, and almost all of them are bad, and then there's one section where they can be pretty good. A little tiny bit of narcissism can make you feel good about yourself, So it's mostly all bad. And, if you look at just the average spectrum of the world and the average bell curve, I would say that a lot of narcissistic qualities tend to be in really highly motivated people who produce a lot, who get a lot done. They put their blinders on, so to speak, and they focus, and they don't care what anybody else thinks, or they seem to not care what anybody else thinks. And to me, it seems to be like they decide to be that way, to get things done. It gets things done. If you express a lot of doubt, and you stop every time you see somebody with a forlorn look on your face, how do you get from point A to point B? How do you get hard work done? How do you fight the forest fire if you stop for every injured animal? Sometimes it takes, somebody else can do that. I got to fight the fire. I got to fight the forest fire, And if you look also at the definitions of narcissism, there doesn't look to be a lot of personal rewards in there. So, if you read the definition, it looks like, well, that doesn't look like a very happy way to live, especially because if you have that disorder, instead of anybody looking to, it's like you don't have to provide empathy to a narcissist. You don't need to be empathetic towards them because somehow they're taken out of the game. They've disqualified themselves from being the recipients of empathy because they apparently have none for others. So it looks like a really lonely existence for these narcissists, these terrible narcissists. You don't read anything good about these narcissists. It's all bad. Meanwhile, we reward narcissists. We elect them president. And no, it's not just the small amount of voters that did that. It's everybody. Everybody that contributed to the TV shows and everything else and the hotels. He didn't get rich on his own. People contributed to that. It was a deal he made with people that got him his billions of dollars and got him his television shows. And it's a deal. Are the Kardashians narcissists? I'm sure a lot of people could call them that. I don't know. But it's a deal, right? They're not famous because people hate them. They're famous because people are intrigued and they like certain aspects of what they are. They like the narcissism. Narcissism gets things done. I bet you most CEOs would qualify as narcissists. And yet, so many people's incomes and salaries depend on one of those narcissists with a singular vision that seems to not care about anybody else. Seemingly, I say. I don't really ever buy it. That's kind of why I'm the defense lawyer type. When I see somebody being accused of something heinous, I think, God, it just doesn't sound like an empathetic thing to say to call somebody else unempathetic or narcissistic. It's one of those weird things. It's almost as if only a narcissist would call somebody else a narcissist. It's one of those takes one to know one kind of deals. One of those if you point the finger at somebody, you got 3 pointed back at yourself. Right? Otherwise, because even to call somebody a narcissist or to belittle them or to try to make them feel bad about their purpose in life by giving them a litany of lists of their bad qualities, here's what you are. You're a narcissist, and this is a list. Everything on this list is terrible and ranks you as a lower life form. It's all undesirable. And that's you, buddy. Like, who is the person qualified to give somebody that list? Why would they be qualified? And what disorder do they have that gives them the confidence to tell somebody that they are a bad person. Now, don't get me wrong. When you read the list, I mean, you can find many things that are undesirable on that list. You go, yeah, I remember people like that. I hate it. It's no fun. They're no fun to be around. But people that are no fun to be around end up being alone and having and bearing the consequences of that. And that's a sad thing. You know? A little understanding might be nice. You know? A little empathy to understand that these narcissists that keep society kind of chugging along forward, moving forward. Maybe some gratitude? Is that weird? To have some gratitude for the rainbow? The full spectrum of types of personalities? Does everything undesirable to you need to be a disorder for somebody else? You know, a narcissist would look at an empathetic person and go, oh, you're weak. You're stopping to help that dumb little animal. Meanwhile, the forest is on fire. You know, you get moving on that, you weak tree hugger. So, yeah, the criticism can go both ways, right? But meanwhile, one person's helping the bunny and one person's fighting the forest fire. Seems like kind of an agreement and a partnership, doesn't it? A little bit. Can that be? Is it possible that narcissists have a role, have a value in society? Is it possible that somebody who's not like you can serve a great function? Is it possible for you to have gratitude for people who have personality traits that, if listed on a long list, don't look desirable for you in your life? And is it possible that anybody else might make that same list and think, I like that. It's a person that's not going to bother me too much with their feelings. And they don't care about mine, and that's good because I don't want to talk about my feelings. If you read that list, it seems like it's written by somebody who really just wants to talk about positive traits and virtues. You know, there are very few virtues listed on the narcissist list of definitions. But yet I can think of people I really enjoy who are narcissists. You know, Prince. Liked his music. Bit of a narcissist. Maybe most artists are narcissists. Dancers? How much time do they spend in the mirror looking at their body, the details, you know, figuring out how to tap dance around? What about sports figures? Gotta get that ball through the net. Or I gotta do it. I gotta win the trophy. I gotta stand. Olympic athletes, you know, I gotta stand on that center podium. Me. Rock stars. I gotta fill a stadium. And everybody's gotta look at me, DJs. I'm gonna throw a party, but make sure my name's all over the flyer. These are all things that we enjoy. I enjoy a good DJ. I enjoy a good rock star. I enjoy a good actor. I enjoy a good playwright. I enjoy people who will write their autobiography. As if, why is that person's life so important? Why are you writing about yourself? You narcissist. Well, I'm more like, thank you for writing about yourself, you narcissist. Thank you for having a sense of importance so grand that I have this catalog of music to listen to. Prince, you know. Thank you for putting all the details. Thank you for thinking so much about your image that you put, that you cut the ass out of your yellow pants and put rhinestones around it. So I don't have to. Thanks, narcissist. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for thinking so much about your life that you wrote these songs. Thank you for having your delusion of grandeur so great that you designed the Empire State Building or the Golden Gate Bridge. You narcissist. For pushing your way through and getting your design up at the front. And I know, I can hear you saying, that doesn't mean they're narcissists, man. There's got to be some balance. But I'm kind of addressing the way it's used, How often are people accusing others of being narcissists? And who are they accusing? I think they're usually accusing people who are getting attention for one reason or another, or people who need attention or who desire attention. I often would say to people that come in for negative attention, I'm like, I'll give you attention. I don't have a problem giving you attention. You don't even need to use negative things to get my attention. I'll give it to you anyway, You can literally just ask me for attention, and I'm happy to give it because I understand that love and attention is something that all humans need and crave. That guy just wants attention. Narcissist. Yeah, so do you. So does everybody. We need it. We need love and affection. And when you see somebody displaying something that actually might qualify a disorder, that to me means that you at least understand that something might be wrong. And if something's wrong with somebody, what do? Beat the shit out of them to make it right? Do we bully them? Do we try to make them feel worse? Do we try to starve them of love? Well, is that what's going to help a narcissist? To call them unempathetic? To say you'd care about nobody but yourself, you narcissist? All you care about is yourself. All you do is try to manipulate people and belittle people. That's all you do, you narcissist. And I'm thinking, well, that didn't sound very nice, what you just said. It's ironically kind of what you're accusing that person of doing. You're trying to convince them that they have a social disorder or a mental disorder and they need your help. Isn't that manipulation? Isn't everything manipulation? Isn't a smile and a sexy wink manipulation? And I get it. We want balance, right? Balance is nice. But does every human being need to be balanced? Or is balance achieved by everybody being different types of people? Do we want everybody to be the same? Or do we want somebody to rescue the bunnies and somebody to put out the fire? Can't we have an empath and a narcissist? Can a narcissist be happy? Can you allow a narcissist to be happy? Do you have it within your scope to think, maybe I can just let them be who they are and not try to fight them all the time and try to get them to be more like me or how I see the world? Don't get me wrong, dude. Look, I'm not trying to be an asshole here. Some people are just jerks and you say, fuck you and get out of my life. Fine. You should do that. If somebody is overbearing and you're not getting anything out of the deal, then get the fuck out of there, right? And if you're upset, go ahead and swear. Call them bad names. I don't know how much it's going to help you. I don't know if it's going to help them by belittling them, by accusing them of all these evil deeds. It's kind of one of those things that people got to fix themselves, you know? I was watching an interview between Anderson Cooper and Howard Stern, you know? That's kind of what sparked this little podcast. They were talking about Donald Trump, and at certain points, you know, because Donald Trump had been on Howard Stern's show many times over the years, and I made a podcast called Bitter Buddies about this topic, and Howard was kind of almost defending Trump, and at least he wasn't speaking of him as evil. But what he was doing is he was demeaning his former self, calling him his former self a narcissist. And he's gone to psychotherapy, and he thinks that he now seems to think he's a much better person. And if he feels better about his life, that's fantastic. I'm not going to take that away from him, you know. But he's equating Donald Trump with his former self. Of course, he can't. At least Howard Stern admitted that he's not Trump's psychoanalyst. But then he went down a list and said, he's a narcissist. He's a total narcissist. And I'm thinking, fine, that may be true. But so what? So what? What is he doing now? And, you know, and Howard Stern attributes all of his new awakening to psychotherapy. And I'm over here thinking, a lot of it's probably just age, dude. You're getting older. You're slowing down. You're not projecting the same pheromones as you used to. You're not getting the same sexy winks from the young girls. You know? You're reconsidering things. And to assume that Donald Trump isn't as well, that he doesn't have his private thoughts and doesn't decide things. You know, his children love him. If he was a real jackass narcissist, do you think they'd love him? No. They wouldn't. They'd hate his guts. They'd be out talking shit about him. And they're not. None of them. He has love. He's a person. He is a person. Just like you're a person, Howard. Howard talks tenderly about his daughters. I'm sure Donald Trump talks tenderly about his daughters and his sons and his grandkids. Sure seems that way. I love the way he kind of keeps his youngest one out of the limelight. That's protective. Seems like he's trying to make a country great for kids. I don't know, you know? And yeah, he displays a lot of the traits that are described in the definition of narcissism. And I'm over here thinking, good. I like that. I kind of want those traits in a leader. I don't want the leader to stop and help the bunny in the time of war. You know? You got to fight. You got to keep your eye on the ball. You got to do the hard work. There's a real reward in helping the bunny. A, it's soft. B, everybody will applaud you. You get the greatest YouTube video. Your YouTube video will go viral. The guys fighting the forest fire will get called toxically masculine. You know? Especially if they swear or take a break and tell dirty jokes or whistle at a lady. Fucking assholes. Sons of bitches. They probably started those fires. They only became firemen because they want the glory of a fireman. Narcissists. They couldn't choose a humble career. They have to choose the hero. Here comes the hero. Anyway, I think you know what I'm saying here, don't you? Making room for different kinds of people. Not trying to find what's wrong with a person. Not ironically accusing them, and becoming exactly what you're accusing them of. Being mean, being a bully. Giving them a list of traits that makes them feel bad about themselves. It is designed to make them feel bad about themselves. It's designed to make them stop. You don't know what's inside of their body. You don't know what's inside of their mind. You don't know how they became how they became. You don't know why. You don't know if it's from birth. You don't know what happened to them. You don't know if it's natural. And you also don't know if it's good and helpful. But maybe it is. But maybe it is. You know? Poison can be used for good or bad. Bombs, fire, anything that can be described as terrible can be used in a productive way. Even a mosquito, I'll bet you could. Bet you if you thought hard enough, you could figure out a positive use for mosquitoes. It's a challenge for you. Defend the mosquito. That's your homework assignment. I want 1,000 words of why mosquitoes are valuable to the world. Tough assignment, isn't it? I give assignments like that to strangers on the internet because I'm a narcissist. I'm making this because I'm a narcissist. I'm not looking in the mirror. Shit, I avoid the mirror as much as I can these days. You know? I never really liked looking in the mirror. Sometimes I'd get a glimpse and I'd go, this guy's pretty good. You're looking pretty good today, Mark. Most of the time I was like, avoid it. Stick with that image you had when you saw yourself in the mirror a while ago. You know? It's better. What I imagine I look like is better than what I actually look like. I'll stick with that. You know? But here I am recording I'm recording my thoughts. And I'm trying to, because I've been accused of being a narcissist before, and one of my biggest accusers of narcissism is me. I do that all the time. I accuse myself of all kinds of terrible things. It's probably not good for me, but it's probably part of being a narcissist. So that's where I'm going with that. You got it? Are we good? We cool? Did I hurt anybody's feelings here? Want to make sure you know that I'm empathetic. Got to make sure you know that I'm not trying to manipulate you. You're free. You can choose whatever you want. You don't have to follow my advice. You don't even need to listen to this. You probably turned it off. I'm probably talking to nobody. I got no stats about this thing. But anyway, if you're a narcissist, we don't have to be best friends, but use your powers for good, and I bet you will. Thanks for listening.